one question that my married subscribers ask me is that obviously there are two partners, and which one of those partners should be the primary applicant or the principal applicant, okay? And I, after reviewing their profiles, I suggest them to best of my knowledge that who should be the primary applicant. But here in this video, I am going to give out the official version of who should be the primary applicant, okay? So if you are married, or if you have a common law partner, that is your legal girlfriend, even if you are not married, one of you must be the main applicant, okay? So both of you cannot be primary applicants. One of you has to be the primary applicant and the other has to be the spouse, okay, or the secondary applicant. And it is not a gender based thing. You have to have a better profile if you want to become the primary applicant. If your wife has a better profile, then she would be primary applicant and you would be her spouse. If the husband has a better profile, then his spouse, his wife would be the secondary applicant. So this is how it works. So there are three factors that you need to consider when you are asking yourself the question, who should be the primary applicant? First one is, who meets the eligibility requirements? All of you know that there are 100 points for the eligibility factors, not the CRS points, for express entry profile creation, and you need to score at least 67 points out of those 100 points, okay. So if you have 67 points, then you need to be the primary applicant. If your spouse cannot meet the minimum eligibility, that is the minimum eligibility criteria, MEC, if your spouse is not meeting the minimum eligibility criteria, then you need to be the primary applicant. And if both of you meet the eligibility on their own, then the second criteria is the person who scores maximum points in those minimum eligibility factors out of the 100 points. For example, if you score 71 minimum eligibility points, then obviously you need to be the primary applicant and your spouse needs to be the secondary applicant. So that is the second criteria, okay. And the third criteria is the primary applicant should be the person who scores most CRS points, the comprehensive ranking score calculator. You can use that, okay, and then you can decide who is the ideal primary applicant, because obviously the whole express entry system is going to revolve around the primary applicant. Secondary applicant will aid towards increasing your CRS by scoring a CLB 9 and by getting a master's equivalency, but the NOC code that you will have will be the deciding factor for your Canadian immigration. So I hope I made it clear to you that how you can select the primary applicant and who should be the secondary applicant. And now if you are going to ask me this question, then first you will watch this video and ask yourself the three questions, that who is going to score maximum points, maximum CRS points. And you also need to change the CRS calculator by making your spouse the primary applicant and making yourself the secondary applicant, and this is how you play around the CRS calculator, and this is how you come out with the best answer that who is going to be primary applicant for your profile. This is not a general criteria. Every profile is different, every immigration aspirant is different, so you need to ask yourself these questions. You cannot look at some other person's profile factors and you cannot apply them to your profile, because you are a separate person, you have a separate life, and obviously your immigration application will be different as well. This is Ali Iftikhar and I am signing off.